Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. And today we are going back behind my Spotify. This time around, we're going to be looking at our reality playlist. If you guys don't know what this playlist is, this is basically my albums of the year, all put into one playlist. So, real quick, just kind of a recap of we'll go over all the playlists because, well, not all of them, but I'll kind of give you a brief on what they all are. So, for example, fantasy. Fantasy is basically from, I'd say, so a little faster. This was like There for Tomorrow. From 2010 to like 2020. These are all my like albums that I grew up listening to. That's what that playlist is. It's called Fantasy. And then we've got the reality playlist, which we'll go over all of them at the end of this. But reality 2021 is basically all of my albums of the year from 2021. And looking back at 2021, I mean, I think my picks were kind of on point. Like this album to me like makes sense being album of the year. Like every album of the year so far, like my number one has been definitive. Like I know this is gonna be album of the year. Like I know it's gonna be at that top spot, and that was with Normandy and Dark and Beautiful Secrets. Then you go to 2022, I Prevail, True Power. That was like an easy number one pick. Now what I'm gonna do real quick here, just to kind of go over things. Last year there was a lot of good picks. I Prevail, Future Palace, State Champs, Devil Wears Prada, Stand Atlantic, Bad Omens, Memphis Mayfire, Citizen Soldier, Puppet, and Our Last Night. There was a lot of good albums that came out last year. This year was pretty much the same. There were some artists that I was expecting to see releases from that would have made this like a perfect album of the year, but they didn't. They're releasing next year. So that'll be interesting. But without further ado, I'm going to hide my screen real quick. Basically, how I wanted to go about doing this is I want to show you guys my albums of the year, but we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. So you guys will see what my albums of the year are. And I'm pretty excited, man, to get into Reality 2023. Pretty thrilled. So without further ado, let's just hop into it. So starting with number 10, Of Virtue, Omen. Now this album, I discovered this band this year. Like I'm not even kidding. I discovered this band through the Breakdown with Nathan Johnny. Really amazing channel. They throw out tons of music like pretty regularly to like check out and listen to, and Of Virtue was one of them. Like I was very surprised by this album. Like very surprised. Like I wasn't sold on this being like on my playlist for album of the year until I heard Sober. Now Sober I guess is like it's basically about like dealing with like being an alcoholic, I guess, or dealing with alcohol, and that whole song is just a banger. It's my number one. So I'm also gonna go over my top 5 songs if that's all right with you all, because there's a lot of good ones on here. But yeah, Sober was kind of the track that sold me on this record, like to buy it and to actually throw it on here. And the rest of the album is really good. There's a lot of songs like I can like, but I actually play the album all the way through. Like it's a great album to listen to. But I think my personal favorite songs, just off the top 5 list here, Sober being number 1 because it's what sold me on the album. Floating, featuring Roy Rodriguez of Dayseeker, which is another really good band. Cut Me Open's another great one. Holy and True Colors. Those are my top 5. This album is at the bottom though because it didn't like. I kept listening to the other albums on this playlist. And this album didn't hold like a candle to the other ones. Like I feel like the album to me was okay compared to the other ones. Like if there was an artist that dropped this year, this probably would have been taken off the album of the year list. But yeah, still, I really love this album. It was just really good overall banger. Like, obviously, these three aren't my top five. Anxiety's really catchy though. I do like it a lot. But yeah, it's a solid record. I really do like it a lot. Now moving on to number 9, we have Citizen Soldier, I See You. So this album I thought wasn't going to drop until next year. I really did. But these dudes are so hardworking. Just to see them drop this album this year is crazy. And all the songs are really good. There are songs that I prefer more than others, and I'll go over them. Like, I think my top song was Therapy, just out of everything on here. I know you can't see, but I'm gonna talk about the song. Like, you can here, I'll just Therapy right there, this song. I'm not gonna play it, but Therapy was definitely my all-time favorite song. I like this whole album is just a banger. Even like the songs that didn't get lyric videos are bangers. Like, they're really good. Although they're not in my top 5, but so Therapy is at my number 1. That was kind of like the track that was like, I love this one. I love this one. It's just catchy. It's good. It's relatable. I think that's the whole thing with Citizen Soldier music. Like, all of their stuff is relatable. And then like My Own Miracles, number 2. It's a solid song. Like, it's just really good, and I relate to it a lot. Strong for Somebody Else is number 3. Again, like, I picked like all the songs I thought were like really catchy to me, and that I played on repeat. Like, Alone with Myself is number 4. That's another one that I played on repeat. Same for Strong for Somebody Else. Like, it would release on Wednesday, and I'd play it on repeat. And dude, it's something else, dude. Like, all 4 of those songs are just great. I don't remember if I listened to Therapy and Alone with Myself on repeat when it released on Spotify. I might have, but I can't remember. I know My Own Miracle and Strong for Somebody Else I did. Now, the other song I want to go over real quick, and this is my number 5 for my top 5 favorite songs on the record, I See You. Now, the funny thing is, I wrote in parentheses that, I See You, the track title is I See You, I See You. But in parentheses, I wrote I See You, like I see someone, right? That's how I wrote it. And then the actual verse, like chorus for the song is I See You dressed in a gown that's blue. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't think that was gonna be the lyrics of the song. Like, I just guessed that. Because I really thought the title track meant like I see you, like I see the person listening to this song. And that's not how it's depicted in I See You. It's Jake's story. It's not really, every song on this record is relatable, but I look at I See You as it's not something to relate to. It's Jake's story, and it's his story. It's not something you should relate to. It's you should listen to, what he's gone through, and how far he's gotten. I think that's what I See You really is. But I think the album itself is like, hey, I see you. This is a whole like for the fans type of album, which I think is really cool. So but the album's really good. It's solid from front to back. It's just great. Again, kind of the same thing with Omen. There's just albums that I preferred over it. But yeah, it's a solid record. It's real good. But yeah, so moving on to another band that I discovered this year through the breakdown, Nathan Johnny. Shout out to them because they do a lot for metalcore and all that sort of stuff, and just discovering new music in general. But moving on to Hollowfront. Again, this is a band I discovered this year, and the whole album, it's 10 songs. And also that's another thing with Citizen Soldier's album. It's long, and I don't really like long records because they can kind of drag on. But every song is a banger on the album. That's why I loved it. But this is 10 songs, and each song is just a really it's a banger. I love, so we'll start with the top 5 songs. You've got Will I Run at number 1. Will I Run is like, it's just really good. But the thing I love about Will I Run, it's like it's a question, but also the song so for those who don't know, I'm trying to write music, and the thing I like to do in songwriting is flip. So like when you write a song, you don't want everything to be the same. And what's cool about the chorus at the very end of Will I Run, he switches it to I Won't Run, which I think is really cool. And when I heard that, I was like, I love that, he's using that technique of flipping words around. Like, I'm trying to do that for anything I write, and it's a creative process. I think it's really fun. But yeah, so Will I Run, and then at number 2, We're All Left Suffering, and then The Fear Of is another one I really like, and that's at number 3. Number 4, Under Pressure, and number 5, Stay With Me. Just some really, dude, they're bangers. They're really good. I think I love every song on the album, but like those ones just stood out to me the most, Like when you listen to an album, there's just songs that stand out more than the other ones, and that's no fault to the album itself. It's just like catchy songs, dude. Even like Letting Go is really good. But I love how they split up the title track. Like they did The Fear Of and then Letting Go at the very end. I like that Fear Of is at the front, Letting Go is at the bottom, which is really cool for the album. But yeah, it's a banger of an album. It's really good. Now, moving on. Oh, you know what? I should be rating these albums. I should be doing that. Shouldn't I? I should. We'll do it real quick. Of Virtue, easily a 7 out of 10 for just the whole album in general. It's just really good. It is, but 7 out of 10 for sure. If we're rating Citizen Soldier's album, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with the album. There's just songs that, like, I think it's that reason of there's songs I like more than others. I think length is also a thing with this album. I would love to see shorter albums from Citizen Soldier, like nothing too crazy. Like I feel like Scarecrow I think was 18. This is 17. And Citizen Soldier was on 2022's album of the year. So yeah. But when they announced the date for this album, like I had to put it on here. I'm like, I'm not gonna not put it on because I have loved every song. But yeah, so 8 out of 10 for sure. And then I think I'm gonna give the same thing to Hollowfront. Is gonna be an 8 out of 10. Because again, there are, I think, like, yeah, there are songs that I've liked more than others. But also the album short, so that's good. That's good. But we'll rate the albums as we go. Just kind of like off the top of my head how I've liked them. Moving on to the next album. Again, another band that I discovered this year, and I thought I had discovered all things pop punk. Boy howdy was I wrong. Boy howdy, I was wrong, dude. We got Knuckle Puck. I didn't know this was a band. I had no clue, dude. I had no idea. I thought, and again, this comes from the breakdown, Nathan Johnny, like them pushing music to me, like literally, I thought I had discovered all things pop punk. Boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong, dude. This album is a banger, and I know people have said, like, check out their older stuff. I did. I have it on my playlist. But yeah, I want to discover all things pop punk, and Knuckle Puck really killed it. The Tower was the first track that I listened to. It's just really good. And then, like, A New Beginning is at number 2. So Tower at number 1, A New Beginning at number 2, You and I at number 3, and at number 4, Better Late, and number 5, Out of Touch. Nothing specific I like about each song. They're just catchy, dude. They're really good. I think, like, if there was songs that if there were songs like that I might have put on my top 5 that I really did like every song in here is catchy, But like I think some that have stuck out to me since playing it in the car is October and Fool. So I think the line, there's like a repeated like verse in Fool. Fool's like the outro track, but it's like, would I be a fool to run to you? And then it kind of switches up and goes, would I be a fool to die for you? Which I really like. Just really good message overall. And then Losing What We Love, that's the title track, and that's another one that kind of stands out to me. It's like I think the lyric goes, who do we become when we're losing what we love? And where did the time go when we let our dark show? I think that's how it goes. I'm pretty sure. Just overall, the album's a banger. If I had to give it a rating, 9 out of 10, easily. But dude, everything's so good on this record. Like, it's just so good. Like, it's pop punk that I haven't heard in a while. Like, I go back to like, I don't know what pop punk I had. Actually, well, I don't have my phone on me, but I think State Champs was like pretty solid pop punk, but I haven't heard pop punk like this done on, like, I don't have pop punk on my albums of the year that much. So, you know, it's pretty rare if I do have pop punk on here. Like, I'm pretty sure next year I'll have pop punk on my album of the year, but we'll see. But yeah, no, this is just, it's good. It's very good. Just a solid album. So yeah, moving on to, I guess this isn't a band I discovered this year, but I feel like I've had them before. They just, I don't know. Maybe they weren't on an album of the year, or maybe I did discover them this year. I don't remember. But shout out to the Breakdown Nathan Johnny again for doing this for me. Currents. So this album, it's something, dude. It slaps. It slaps, dude. This album's just so good. It's just, oh my god, dude. It's amazing. I think my favorite thing about this album that I can say without a doubt is, like, the choruses are catchy, but the guitar work, man, in this album, it's like no other. It's like you oh my god, like I played this album in my car a lot when I was like, I swear to god, it's like, it just gets the heart racing, dude. It's such a good album. Like, one song, like, I'll list off my top 5, but there's one song I want to talk about that I love. So at number 1, Remember Me. It's just a catchy chorus. The guitar works great. So Alone. A lot of these, like, are catchy. Like, Remember Me, So Alone, over and over. That's 1, 2, 3 in order. And then you got at number 5, and we'll talk about number 4 in a second, but at number 5, Death We Seek. That's the title track. Solid chorus, and it's just a banger. Now, talking about number 4, and the reason I only want to talk about this track the most is because it's like the one that I just love the most. It's the second track on the record, but when you hear it, dude, that the intro, it is such a, like, the drumming. I don't know if it's the drumming in it. I think it's just like the bum ba-dum 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 ba-dum. I think that's how it goes. But the guitar work and the beats in that, oh my god, dude. Like, you hear that and you just want to you just want to jump up and down. Like, it's such a great song, and it's like one that stands out to me the most. There's not even, like, I don't even know if there's a good chorus in there. That's all I cared about. Like, that beginning part. Living in Tragedy at number 4. If I had to give this album a rating out of 10, it's gonna be another 9 out of 10. Like, it's just solid. It's a great record. It's phenomenal. It's just, it's really good. Listen to it. Buy these CDs. Listen, I'm gonna have this playlist link below. If you want to listen to these albums for yourself to determine if it's your album of the year, go for it, because I'm gonna have this in the description below. But let's keep going here. We're on a roll, dude. It's gonna be a long video because this is the first time I'm doing this for the actual current year, because I had to go over the other 2 playlists this year. So yeah, let's keep going. So coming in at number 5, Currents was number 6, Knuckle Puck was number 7, Hollow Front was number 8, Citizen Soldier number 9 and 10, A Virtue. But coming in at number 5, Holding Absence, the noble art of self-destruction. That album title, and we should talk about the album titles. We're gonna do it at the end though, because it'll make more sense when I talk about it. But this album I think is like I've loved every song off of it. Even like there's like no skippable songs on here. However, I will say we're gonna talk about this. Let me pull up my top 5. So, okay. All the songs like are super good. Like Head Prison, I think. So my top 5 at number 1 is False Dawn. That is the song that sold me on the album. That was like, this has to be on here. Like there's no doubt in my mind that this is going to be on my album of the year. And the reason being is just the chorus, dude. He's super catchy. It's just a catchy chorus. It's probably like my favorite song from them ever. Like I think it's next to like I'm pretty sure it goes next to like Coffin. Coffin is like my second favorite song by them, and it's such a banger. But yeah, it's super good. I love False Dawn. It's my favorite song on the record, hands down. Now I want to talk about, we'll get through his top 5 first, and then I want to talk about something real quick. So number 2, A Crooked Melody. That's like the first song that dropped off of this record. It's just a banger. Head Prison Blues is another good one. That's the title track. Like I'm looking at it, and like it's mostly like the top 4 songs. The first 4 songs on the record are my favorite. Like at number 5 is Scissors, and number 4 is Her Wings. Her Wings is just really, really good. Solid track. Now, one thing I do want to talk about that I love about this record is these 3 songs. I don't know if the 4th one is a part of it, but you have to listen to it. I think it helps if you listen to it in a car. You can listen to it in your speakers, like if you have headphones. But like these 4 songs all tie into each other. Like False Dawn, the song ends, goes directly into Scissors. Like there's like no cut or anything. You don't hear like an abrupt silence. It just goes directly into Scissors. And then Scissors, after the song ends, you hear this acoustic guitar kind of come in, and it's part of Scissors, but it goes into Honeymoon. And I think that's where it ends, but I also believe, could be wrong, I think Honeymoon goes into Death Nonetheless. Now, I almost had Death Nonetheless and Honeymoon on my top 5. Now, the reason I don't, like Honeymoon is like an acoustic ballad basically, and it's just really, it's a solid song. But I picked Her Wings over that song any day of the week. But Death Nonetheless, the problem that I have with the song is, and it's literally the only problem, is the last part of the song is just this like, I guess like roaring chant of the same verse over and over again, and it's kind of annoying. I actually let it play through the entire song because it's an artistic choice for the band to be doing that. So I let it play through, but it's a little annoying to have that on the record, but I don't mind it. I think it's still a good record regardless, because it's got so many good songs in here. Like this one song being in there and having that part, I can live through it. I can play it. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing in the whole world. So yeah. But if I had to give the album a rating, it's gonna be a 9 out of 10. It's a solid record. It's just really good. Like every song in here is catchy. There's nothing bad about this record, like that you could say, minus that one part, but like it's really good. But yeah, so let's keep on going. So coming in at number 4, Polaris, Fatalism. Now, dude, this is like I think like the only artist that is returning on this record so far is Citizen Soldier. Like everything on here is new, and that's my whole thing with albums of the year. Like you know, you don't want to see repeats on the albums of the year every time, otherwise it just gets kind of boring. because I think like 2022 didn't have any repeats. I don't think. We can double check, but anyway, Polaris. So this album for me, just like I love this album, and I think what made the album even more impactful, but what is sad is believe the guitarist for the band passed away to unforeseen circumstances, and it sucks. So the album kind of hits harder, but the album's just, it's a banger all the way through. It's just a solid metalcore album. It's just really good. I love it a lot. I think my top songs on here, I mostly like the songs with the clean choruses, clean to an extent, but number one is Overflow. Like, I think the verse for Overflow is like, where do I go when it's raining inside, which is just so deep, because it's just like, yeah, where do you go when you know, like, you know, you go under cover for shelter, but like, what if it's raining under the cover? Like, you can't do anything. But it's a metaphor for like, what do you do when it's raining in your mind? Like, where do you go? You can't go anywhere. So that song's amazing. And then With Regards is my other, is number two. So Overflow's the number one. Number two is With Regards. And it's like, I think the verse goes, I hope this message finds you not too late. And I love that. It's just super catchy. And then number three, Nightmare. Number four, Crossfire. And number five, Fault Line. This album's just a solid album. If I had to give it a rating, honestly, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I can't rate this any lower than that, because it's just that good, dude. It's super solid. I love it a lot. I really do. And I play it in the car all the time. It's great. It's real solid. But yeah, moving on to number three, Beartooth. Beartooth, The Surface. I was going to say I Was Alive, but that's one of the songs on here. Beartooth, The Surface. So Beartooth was actually on 2021's reality playlist. I do know that because the album that was on that playlist is Below. So I feel like it was a no-brainer to even put The Surface on my album of the year, because, you know, I guess Below, like, that's when I started finding Beartooth, was Below, and I love that album a lot. And The Surface is like kind of following that same storyline almost. But dude, I had to get it because the whole album is a banger. There's no bad song on the record. I just want to put that out there. There's no bad song. There just isn't. There isn't. It's another, like, I'm just gonna give the rating now. It's another 10 out of 10 for me, dude. There is nothing bad about the album. It's just a solid record. Now, again, there are songs I prefer more than others, but just to kind of go over it real quick, number one, I Was Alive. That song is so good. It's just easily, I could repeat that song forever. Like, it's just so good, dude. Yeah, but I love that song a lot. Doubt Me is at number two. Super good. Number three, Might Love Myself. Just that title alone, Might Love Myself. Like, Think I Might Love Myself. I love that. Number four is Riptide. That came out last year, I think, but still, I love that song a lot. It's really good. And then number five is Look the Other Way. Look the Other Way is like an acoustic track on the record, but I love it a lot. It's just like, it's such a simple track, but like, I don't even know what it's I think the whole song, that song's referring to, like, I can't tell if Caleb, the vocalist, is referring to a partner or himself, like his past self, like, because he's telling someone to, like, look the other way. I don't know. It's kind of it's a hard song to kind of depict, but I do really like every song on here. Like, The Better Me is another, like, it's catchy. I like that one. I didn't throw it on. There's just so many songs, like, it was hard to pick the top five, but I think, like, Better Me, Sunshine doesn't. Sunshine's kind of a grower more than a shower, you know. But I do really love every song on this record. And again, 10 out of 10. It's a solid record, and I had to follow the journey of this, from below to the surface. I just kind of had to. I feel like it was fated, but yeah. So moving on to number 2 on the reality playlist on my albums of the year. All Time Low. Tell Me I'm Alive. So this album, dude, I guess we can consider this pop punk. So it's more pop punk on this record. Two pop punk albums. Crazy. But my top 5 favorite songs, and this whole album's a banger, by the way. There is one song that I don't vibe with too much. Like, it's the only song on the record that I'm like and we'll talk about it after we go over the top 5 here. But if I had to give the album a rating, 10 out of 10. Like, even though there was one song that I don't like as much, I still think the album's solid, a solid banger. But number 1 is Are You There? So Are You There is like, the reason I like that song a lot is because of one lyric it's in the chorus. It's like, God, it's gonna, what is it? Can I get the lyrics for it? If I'm not gonna play it, but can I get the lyrics? I'm not gonna show the lyrics. It's fine. But Are You There, is, your friends, I think it's your friends are all asleep. I'm trying to remember it, dude. It's gonna hurt me. Give me a second. We'll actually look at the lyrics here because I'll do it real quick because I want to. Yeah. So the lyrics, chorus. Oh, I love this. So the whole chorus, right, is where do you turn when the drugs run out and it's 3 a.m. and you're coming down? Oh, your friends are asleep because they're all okay, and you need someone, but you don't want to say, are you there? That is a banger of a chorus, dude. I love that chorus a lot. I really do. Just overall, that is probably my favorite chorus on the album because it's catchy. It's phenomenal, and it's like, where do you turn when the drugs run out? Yeah, where do you go? Where do you go? It's like, and all your friends are asleep because they're all okay. Oh my god, dude, I love that song. I love that song a lot. But this whole album, I play it on repeat, dude. It's so good. Number 2, English Blood, American Heartache. I think it's the lyrics go, don't blame my English blood for this American heartache. I think that's how it goes. Solid. I probably don't sound as good as the vocalist, but I love that song. It's awesome. Awesome. Number 3, The Sound of Letting Go. And it goes, that's the sound of letting go, turning up the stereo, pump it when you're feeling low. Oh, eh, oh, eh, oh, eh. Dude, the songs are catchy. They're so good. And this is, again, All Time Low is, it's not, I don't know if it was a artist, I don't know if it was a band, not artist. I don't know if it was a band that I discovered this year, but I did know about them for sure. But yeah, I every song on this album just vibed with me, and this is why it's my album of the year. And funny enough, I do want to talk about this real quick. Every album on this playlist, most of them have moved around in terms of where I place them, but these top 2 on albums of the year have not moved. So Tell Me I'm Alive by All Time Low, this record has stayed where it is. It's a number 2. It has just stayed there. Hasn't moved its position at all because it's just that good. Now, number 4 is The Other Side. Nothing significant to say about the song. I just love it. It's catchy. And then number 5, I'd Be Fine If I Never Saw You Again. But yeah, I really do love this album a lot. And even this song, Lost Along the Way, the first verse I think is, "Can we start this record over?" And then like obviously it being the last track, I threw it. I just restarted and it plays from the beginning again as a banger. It's really good. But the one song I want to talk about that I don't really vibe with too much, but I still like it, is New Religion, featuring Teddy Swims. Now I do want to say that I don't know how the collaboration came together, but I will say I think I know how it happened, and we'll kind of go into it here. Let me just look it up real quick. So I don't want to like presume this is how it happened. This is how it like turned out. What the? I need to look at Illenium in a bit. I didn't know he had new music out. Am I following him? Yeah, I am. And literally, okay, maybe I just didn't check my new. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I haven't like. Have I not been paying attention? So kind of going back to his last album, and apparently he dropped remixes, and I didn't know that. Oh my lord, what am I doing? We're distracted. So the reason I don't know how that song came together. It's not my favorite on there, but funny enough, if you go back to Illenium's new album, just titled Illenium, All Time Low features on this record on Back to You, but I think Teddy Swims, All That Really Matters. I don't know if that's a coincidence and that's how that song came together. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's how it came together. I'm pretty sure. Because I was thinking, like, where would that feature come from? Like, they collab. It was definitely like they both were on the Illenium album, so it made sense for them to collab. And that's the only feature on the album, on Tell Me I'm Alive album. But again, the entire album is a banger. Go listen to it. It's a bop, dude. It's so good. It's so good. Now, getting into the last album on this list, my number one album of the year is NF Hope. Dude, this album does not disappoint. When this thing dropped, dude, I instantly put it on this playlist because I like, again, I want to talk about this real quick, right? Like you go back to like this, right? Reality 2022. I knew I Prevail was going to be number one. It was an album I knew that was going to be my number one of the year. Then you go to 2021. You got Normandy, Dark and Beautiful Secrets. I knew that was going to be my album of the year. And like it's without a doubt. And again, like I'm just looking real quick. NF popping up again because Clouds, I threw it on here. It's just solid, dude. It really is. I love the album a lot. I'm trying to see if there's repeats of any albums yet. Probably not. Besides, yeah. Okay, no. But yeah, so going back to that, this whole album, man, I just I want to talk about it real quick because I feel like I started listening to NF. I'm trying to think. It had to have been 2019, I think. I'm pretty sure that was when I started listening to it. Is that when The Search came out? Am I going to be right about that? I think that's when The Search came out. It probably around there, like, yeah, so 2019 is when I started listening to NF. Like, I started listening around The Search when that came out, and I mean, that album, I didn't listen to it all the way through. Like, I think the two songs I listened to the most were The Search, Returns, Let It Down, Time. But I know Let It Down, Time, I think are on completely separate records. But the point is, I didn't listen to a lot of NF until like I started watching like reaction videos to NF, and I kind of like started to understand the story more. And now I get it. Like I get it like completely. But this album, I feel like, was kind of like, it had to be on. Not only did it have to be on this playlist, but it had to be my album of the year because of the message. Like, this is a new Nate. It's a new NF. It's all about hope, and I think that's kind of the message. Like 2022 and 2021, there's not really a message to the albums of the year, right? But and we'll talk about this in a bit because I want to go over the top 5 songs. But there's a big message to this playlist, and it's really cool. But going over my top 5, Running is the best song on this record. Don't at me, dude. That song, I love that song. It's acoustic banger. There's some rap mixed into it. It's just solid. It's got big sound. I love it. That's my favorite. I think that's my favorite NF song of all time. Like that tops anything he's ever done. Like for sure. That one song, dude, that is my favorite from him. And then number 2 is Gone, featuring Julia Michaels, which Gone is just like, I want to talk about it briefly because, and I'm going to bring up the lyrics on Genius real quick, if I can. Just because talking about this is going to help more. Gone. So the thing is with this song is a like breakup song, but like it's talking about like I'm already gone. Like it's just a song talking about like how these people have already moved on. And what I love about the song the most is the first like first verse is NF, and the pre-chorus, and then the chorus, and then there's something called an instrumental break, which it's like weird. So there's like this huge sound, right? There's this huge sound, and it kind of, you hear like an explosion, basically. Not really, but like huge sound, and then and then it drops, and then it goes to piano, and then big sound again, piano, big sound, piano, and then it goes into Julia Michaels' verse. Now, I've described that as it being about a breakup, like explosion, breakup, and then it's like calm storm. Like that whole instrumental break in that song, if you know what I'm talking about, is talking about, it's literally describing a breakup. It's describing the whole process of it, how it works, which I love that so much. And then the second verse is Julia Michaels, like the other perspective, like the first perspective was the boyfriend, second perspective being the girlfriend. So verse 1, verse 2, and then the pre-chorus goes for, and both of them start going, and then chorus is both of them. It's just a solid song, and I love it so much for that one reason, right? And then like, dude, number 3 is Happy. The songs I love on here the most are the most like, not depressing, but like the most like simple, I guess, is what I think. But I love Happy the most because like there's one part, and I think it's in the chorus, is NF goes like, who would I be if I was happy? Like he doesn't know who he would be if he was happy. And dude, that is something I relate to all too well. Like, who would I be if I was happy? Right? Like crazy. It's just a tough question to ask, but yeah, it's just such a good song. I love that song. Like it's number 3. It's just really good. And then I think that like the top 5 here, like the bottom 3 are like Happy, Hope, and Motto. I just love the singles so much, and then like Gone and Running were something else. Like I love every song on this record, like, but I prefer the more like simple songs, you know? Like Careful's really good. Pandemonium, Mama, Suffice, Bullet, Turn My Back, Mistake, Let 'Em Pray. Those are really good songs. I just prefer the simple songs. I don't know, man. This album is a complete like 20 out of 10, dude. Just the fact that NF has come so far, and you know, he's released this album, and I can't wait to see if he does release more. I think that would be cool, but he does clearly. I'm not sure if he knows if he's gonna release more music. But I hope he does. I really do. Just because the album was a banger. Obviously, like, wait a bit before he come back, but I love the album a lot. It's really good. It's a solid album. Now, let's talk about the kind of theming of this album, right? So I did notice it when I started to add all these albums, is all of them sort of have a theme and a message, and it's kind of like a message of like almost positivity, like kind of. So you got NF Hope, so you got Hope, Tell Me I'm Alive, Tell Me I'm Alive, The Surface, which is Beartooth's most positive record, Fatalism, which I don't know, can we Google that, Chief? The belief that all events are predetermined and therefore inevitable. Okay. So, kind of positive. All events are predetermined and therefore inevitable. So, positivity eventually to happen. The Noble Art of Self-Destruction. So, like, it's all, like, self-reflective, I guess. The Noble Art of Self-Destruction. So, self-destruction, like, self-destructing yourself. The Death We Seek. So not positivity, but like there was a message to it, sort of. The Death We Seek, The Noble Art of Self-Destruction. That's kind of those. That's basically the same thing almost. Just kind of losing what we love, the fear of letting go, losing what we love, the fear of letting go. So the fear of letting go, losing what we love. That's crazy coincidence there. And then I see you and Omen kind of not, but like you get what I mean. Is like there's kind of like a theming to this almost like. Every album kind of relates to one another, like Hope, Tell Me I'm Alive, The Surface. They all kind of relate together. Fatalism, Noble Art, Self-Destruction, Death We Seek, Losing What We Love, The Fear of Letting Go. Like I think like there's some sort of theming going on here, with my albums of the year for this year. But I don't know. I have no idea. One thing I do want to talk about though is 2024, because clearly the year is coming to a close. I just wanted to talk about my potential albums of the year because I already have a list and I don't know if any of them are going to make the cut, but we'll see. Now, I have already ordered some of the albums because I know they're going to be bangers. Well, we'll see. But I'll tell you who's making returns and who's not. We have one new return. I don't think every one of these is new. Well, not everyone. There is one artist on here that is returning from 2021. But this is... Sorry, should we like... Well, no, that's fine. So this is my 2024 list. So I have Eminence on here. I don't know if I'm actually going to listen to that album a lot. I have no idea. No clue. It's kind of a we'll see thing at the moment. But Normandy, Dopamine. Normandy is coming back with an album. And the way they've described... So from Dark and Beautiful Secrets, they said with their new album, with their new record, it's going to be completely different. And so far, they've been releasing a single every month. So far, that is true. So far, that's 100% true. The album's pretty different. The first single they dropped was kind of like a throwback to Dark and Beautiful Secrets. But so far, I don't know if I'm liking the album or not. I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but like not every single is grabbing me, you know? So it might be hit or miss. I don't know how that album's gonna do, but I know it's gonna stay on the playlist for sure. So yeah. And then of course, Make Them Suffer, which is so Eminence is not a band I have like actively listened to. Make Them Suffer is the same. But the two singles that they've dropped, I've really liked. So hopefully that stays true and they get on the playlist. Neck Deep with the title track, Neck Deep title track album, is coming out in January 19th. Every song on that album so far has been really good. Like it's it's pop punk, but and by the way, these two bands are metalcore to an extent. But yeah, Neck Deep, pop punk band. I've loved every song off of the album so far. And that's definitely just going on here. Now, again, I haven't mentioned it, but, again, with me knowing what my album of the year is going to be, I don't know. I don't know what my album of the year is going to be for 2024. I'm kind of like torn. Like, it's going to be hard to pick. I feel like I'm not going to know. But like, I mean, if I know, I know. I just know it's not going to be like Normandy. I'm not sure about Neck Deep. I mean, I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting year for album releases. I'm going to have to hold my breath and be like, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so the next album on here, Plotting You, I think my favorite song from them currently is Left Behind. Just that is a solid, like, 30 Seconds to Mars kind of sound. It's just really good. I love that song a lot. And the Plotting You are definitely going to be on here. What Was Me is a band that I've discovered this year, and I guess they just came back. I don't know if they're doing an album. I have no idea. But they've dropped 2 singles, and they've been really good so far, so we'll see what happens there. Floya is a band I discovered this year, and they are dropping an album in March. I already ordered it. It's a banger of an album. I mean, I've heard most of the songs already. I'm excited to play that in my car, dude, to be honest with you. I really am. So there's that. Siamese, I don't know. I've only like heard, well, I have their discography on my playlist, but I've only heard one song that I've really liked from them. So it's kind of hard to say if this will be on my album of the year. It's really hard to say that. So we'll see what happens there. Daughtry. Now I know you're like, why is that band on there? It's so Daughtry for me, I never like listened to them a ton, but I listened to like I think Waiting for Superman and Baptized. I like, those are songs I like growing up I listened to. The reason Daughtry's on here is because they're apparently dropping a metal album next year. And I've heard Artificial. Artificial's really good. I love that song. So there is a chance that that could be on here as well. So I pretty much have most of my albums picked already. But that's, you know, we got to wait for 2024 to actually happen before we see releases starting. But, and then next up, Bring Me the Horizon Post-Human Next Gen. I already have it pre-ordered. That album's going to slap. I already know it will. It's just going to be great. It's going to be a great album. I don't know if it's going to be my number one, though. We'll see. But I know what's going to be on it. I know Die For You is going to be on there. Lost. There's a lot of good songs that are going to be on that record, dude. And then Architects is a maybe. I listened to Architects' album last year, and I enjoyed some songs off of it. I didn't enjoy every song off of it, but I thought it was good. It's a good record, just not my favorite. So maybe with their new stuff, I might enjoy it. We'll see. But that's like right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think like there's some bands on here that I'm gonna be like, I might not put you on here, like Imminence, What Was Me, Siamese, Architects, like those 4 bands. Just for me, I might be like, you might not make the cut. So there's a chance that like I'm not gonna put every single album on here that I have listed, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys like this is what I'm thinking right now. So we'll see what happens. But that has been Reality 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just kind of going over my albums of the year if you were curious to see what my picks were. But yeah, this was a really good year for music, and I'm excited for next year. So yeah, you'll probably see Reality 2024 in December of next year. And yeah, that's going to be the video for today. But thank you guys for watching. If you did, as always, I appreciate it a ton. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!